What's up, guys? Luke here from Luke's Points and Miles, and today I'm going to answer your questions from the monthly Ask Me Anything post. Guys, once again, I got an overwhelming response, but since I got comments from folks stating they really enjoy this series, I'm going to answer all of them, even if I have to do a part two. So since only subscribers watch this series anyway, let's get right into it. First, we have Isaac. Isaac wants to know why I don't think the CCC is worth it. I'm going to assume that is the Citi Custom Cash, and if I ever use American Airlines miles for big international flights. Great questions, Isaac, but I don't think I've ever said the Citi Custom Cash is not worth it. But I have called it overrated before. It's overrated as a cashback card because it's capped at 25 bucks a month, and that just doesn't move the needle for some of us. If it's used as part of a Citi thank you points earning setup, then I think it's a winner. As far as if I have ever used American Airlines miles for international flights, I used 120,000 American Airlines miles to book the Qatar Q Suites from Columbus to Dubai. I don't have a way to earn a ton of AA miles right now, so I don't see me using them like that in the future. Next question is from a different Isaac. I didn't know that name was this common, but Isaac number 2 is looking at redemptions to Europe, and he wants to know if there's a certain alliance or airline that I prefer when looking for flights to Europe. Isaac, I really don't care which alliance an airline is part of. I normally look at sweet spots first, like booking Delta One using Virgin Atlantic miles, and the next thing I look at is how desirable of an airline I can find. There are certain airlines I want to experience, such as ANA, Singapore, and even Swiss Air. So I try to keep it fairly simple. I want the best deal on a cool airline. Budget Life Save says they are redeeming 200,000 points between Chase and Capital One towards a Disney cruise vacation. And he wants to know if I think it's a good deal. BLS, there are two ways to think about this one. The first one is to be critical and think those points and miles are worth much more than 1 cent per point when redeeming for travel. And one would think it might be better to just have a cash back setup and redeem in cash to pay for things like that. We'd like to get $5,000 or even $10,000 worth of travel for 200,000 miles. But the other side of the coin is this. You get to go on a Disney cruise and you're going to make some seriously awesome memories and you're going to save a bunch of cash. Would I execute this redemption? No. But that doesn't mean it's not a great redemption for you. As long as you're using your miles and points, it's all good, man. JJ has membership rewards points and ultimate rewards points earning cards, and he likes to travel to watch sports. Hey JJ, me too. His question is it worth it to get a hotel card? And he's asking specifically about the choice cards we went over recently, and he asked if I'm getting the choice card. I'll answer this one in pieces. I personally think hotel cards are the best way to earn hotel points, benefits, and perks. I don't like transferring UR or MR points for hotel stays. I can do really well with my chosen hotel, Hilton, with the Hilton credit cards. As far as the choice cards, I really like the Select, and I say that because I always see a nice choice hotel near an amusement park, a football stadium, or a ballpark. I think it's a really useful card. I also would like to take advantage of those choice hotels in Scandinavia, but I don't have any plans to get that card right now. Now, I know there will be comments about Hyatt as a Chase transfer partner, so I will mention that almost every single time I try to book an award night with Hyatt, if I am bringing my wife and child, I'm not able to book with points. I prefer Hilton. I haven't talked about this latest one. The NFL schedule just came out a few days ago, so I had a Hyatt-centric picked out close to the stadium in Nashville. Check the dates, no points redemptions. Next Hyatt, same. 4 out of 5 Hyatts would not let me book a room with points. I finally found a category 5 Hyatt place that would let me. So the only hotel program that gets great value when transferring UR points has been a real letdown for me so far. Long-winded answer, but yes, I do believe hotel cards are worth it, but I really don't see Choice adding luxury hotels because I don't think that's their market. Samuel asks if I would recommend any precautions for someone getting their first business card, such as the Hilton Business or the Delta business cards from American Express. Samuel, I don't think you need any precautions out of the ordinary, like don't manufacture spend or buy a bunch of cash equivalents like gift cards, especially when you're during the bonus spend time. I don't worry too much about separating my business and my personal spend, but I do know a lot of people that at least say they separate it. I prefer to use my business cards for a lot of reasons. One is it doesn't show any utilization to the credit bureaus, but if you have a lot of business spend, then I guess it's good to separate. Enrique is a longtime friend of the channel and he's currently 324, but he has some Chase business cards and he has the Chase Trifecta. He wants to know if he should worry too much about his 524 status. Enrique, that really depends on your credit card goals. He likes Hilton and American Airlines, and neither of those are Chase partners. I would seriously consider any Chase cards you want before continuing with anything outside Chase, but I'm also not someone who says you need to max out Chase before continuing on. Lots of ways to do it, but if there are Chase cards you want, I would seriously consider getting them before moving on. But having the Trifecta and the Ink cards, I think you have what you need from Chase. Ari wants to know if I can give you guys any financial advice. He's interested in hearing about real estate ventures. Ari, no, I'm not qualified to give anyone financial advice, and those finance YouTubers, they've been really getting beat up lately. As far as my journey in real estate, I can give you a short summary. After about 6 months of research with books, blogs, podcasts, and YouTubes, I purchased a single family home for $75,000. So after the down payment, closing costs, and all the renovations I did, I got the home ready for tenants with a total of around $26,000 out of my own pocket. The rest was financed through a conventional mortgage. I picked tenants, and after some minor challenges, the home has been occupied for the last 4 years. About 2 years after purchasing the home, I did what is called a cash out refinance. I had the home appraised, and the value, including all the upgrades I did, went from $75,000 to over $150,000. I refinanced for $26,000 more than what I owed. Some folks term this as pulling out equity. Now, the things I've done in 4 years, I've replaced the furnace, the air conditioning, the water heater, and I'm going to be replacing the gutters soon. So after expenses, the investment still has positive cash flow, but the cool part is, with the cash out refinance, I have $0 of my own money into this $150,000 asset that generates income every month. The goal was to use that money I pulled out to purchase another rental, but this YouTube channel has taken up my time, and the cash flow from this channel is actually better than the first rental. So that money went to fund a Roth IRA and some other stuff like my son's 529. Sorry if I'm rambling on, but if you guys would like me to add some personal finance or stuff like this to the channel, comment below. I'm just not sure if anybody wants that type of content. The Platinum OG asked if he books a domestic United flight using a partner, does he still get his free checked bag for holding the United credit card? That's a great question, but I'm going to say yes, because you're going to put your United number in the booking and it will be on your United app and all that good stuff. Unless the fine print on the card says something to the effect that you have to use the card in some way. I've done this when booking an American flight using British Airways Avios, and I have the American Airlines Citi card, so I will still have that benefit, first check bag. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know. I know you will. NoHo has some Hilton questions. He wants to know my strategy when redeeming my free night that comes with the Hilton Aspire card. NoHo, I just booked the property I want to stay in. Simple. Now, I make sure it's fairly expensive so I can justify that expense to myself, but that Aspire card pays for itself, so whether you're booking a $200 room or a $1,000 room, it still makes sense. Let me give you an example of what I have currently booked. The Points and Miles meetup in Las Vegas is September 2nd, and I'm staying at the Waldorf Astoria on the Strip. I'm only staying 2 nights because I have somewhere I need to be, so I use the free night certificate from the Aspire card and 1 night with points. The cash price of that night is $767.37, so I think I did pretty good. It's also a property I've wanted to visit for a while. The resort credit part of your question, the resort credit is not hard to use. You don't need to book it in any type of special way. Just stay at a property that Hilton labels a resort, and the credit is good for anything. Room price, booze, anything charged to the room. It's easy. Just go to the Hilton website and get a list of properties they consider resorts. Next question is from fellow content creator Matt Welter. And if you haven't checked out his channel, please do. He has his own style of videos, and I think he can provide you with some good value. Matt asks what a typical day in the life of Luke looks like, and if I'm a full-time YouTuber. Well, Matt, I am not a full-time YouTuber, and at least in the foreseeable future, I don't aspire to be. During the week, I get up between 4:45 and 5 a.m., and I'm at my job by 6 o'clock. I've been with the same employer for 22 years, and I'm one of those guys that is slowly working towards that pension. I'm normally out of there by 2 and headed to do some type of exercise, stress relief, or decompression routine. After that, I make it home about 2 minutes before the bus drops the boy off. After that, it is either YouTube work or straight up dad life until the T-ball game or the trail life meeting. I don't coach, and I'm not like a scout leader or anything, but I normally help out with all those things. I don't miss any of the boys' activities. Dinner is normally somewhere in there, and then I guide the boy through his evening routine. I'm in bed by 8 o'clock watching you guys on YouTube or responding to comments, and I'm asleep by 9. Pretty full, pretty boring, but also pretty purposeful. Weekends are about the same, minus the day job. Throw in about 10 trips a year so I can completely destroy that routine, and you basically have what I do. It's also why my uploading schedule isn't as consistent as some people, but that is something I'm working on. Now, that routine also factors in an early retirement. I have 6 years left before I can stop working for a boss man, and I think that's when the real work will start. Mikey B really wants some Marriott status. He wants to know if it's worth waiting for a higher bonus on the Marriott card, or if he should pull the trigger on the new Hilton Aspire offer. Mikey, I believe there are times in life it really pays to have patience. This probably is not one of them. My strategy with credit cards is I will gladly use that card and those status perks while you wait and wait and wait. They may never offer a better bonus. That status could get devalued, or you might just get old waiting. Get the card, go make some memories, but I will say that I prefer the Hilton Aspire. Love that card. Cadetism has a question that I may not understand. In a world where credit card rewards are only redeemed for cash, what are some good use case scenarios? Now, if I'm reading this right, we are looking for when I think it's a good time to redeem credit card points for cash. Well, I think if there's some type of financial hardship, it's okay. And I don't even think it needs to be a serious hardship. Anytime money can relieve stress, do it. For me, I could see a time where I'm not traveling as much and I'm looking for something to do with those points. I'll be honest, I'm boring, and I use that cash back to fund my Roth IRA. I think I could get $6,500 a year in cash back, including some bonuses. I'm sure that money would be substantial at some point. Another thing I think would be cool would be to fund a 529. Really can't go wrong there. I would also consider using my cash back to pay down any debt if the math makes sense. Like if you had a rental property that didn't have the best interest rate, paying that down could sure make a great investment. Sorry, I'm just not buying any Lambos with my cash back. Mike Co asked the age-old question, if I could go back in time, what changes would I make? I'm hoping this is just about credit cards. If so, I just wish I would have gotten into this game sooner. Credit card rewards have really helped me in my personal finance journey. They've helped me better manage my finances, learn more about finance in general, to include the business side of things. I could even include the YouTube part. I've been lucky enough to receive a lot of training and have a lot of experience when it comes to public speaking and teaching over the years, and I really wish I would have gotten to use those skills to generate income. My YouTube growth has been slow and consistent, and I am super thankful for that. But sometimes I think, where would I be if I started this around? I don't spend a lot of time looking in the rear view, even when it comes to credit cards. I could have done the strict path and got the Chase Trifecta, then the Capital One Venture X, then a few no annual fee, 5% cashback cards before moving on to American Express. But my journey has been fun and I own my mistakes. And I'm also excited to see where it goes from here. One of my favorite YouTubers, Stan the Credit Frog, asked if I would ever consider cards from issuers that are cash back and don't have transfer partners. Stan, that's a great question, and the answer is yes. I don't have the flexibility to move assets to Bank of America at the moment to take advantage of their higher tiered rewards program, but at some point I will. There will come a time when I'm not traveling as much and a cashback setup could make a lot more sense for me. I also think I will always travel domestically, and you could make a great argument that a cashback setup might be even better for a domestic economy traveler. Bank of America, US Bank, and even Wells Fargo have products that are very interesting to me, and I could see me moving in that direction one day. Right Reactions has a question about status. Which hotel or airline status do I see as most valuable? And he asked if I'm chasing any status. Well, I've been pretty vocal about my journey towards airline status in the last couple years, and I do not value it and I do not chase it. I currently have no loyalty to any airline. If I want to fly in the front, I book an awards ticket in the front. Hotels, on the other hand, I think that is a no-brainer. I think hotels can offer a lot of value when it comes to status. Having diamond or even gold status with Hilton will get you a substantial amount of money in the form of a food and beverage credit if you travel a lot. I know a lot of folks that generate tons of value for having the top tier Hyatt status. Marriott, in my opinion, seems to be a little more difficult, but there are still tips and tricks to make that happen. I'm not currently chasing any hotel status. I have diamond with Hilton and I'm currently a promotional explorist with Hyatt. I'm not participating in the Built Rewards Status Challenge to get the Globalist. The math just doesn't work out for me. I have entertained the thought of just being a hotel free agent, but man, I really like the perks Hilton offers, even though it seems like they don't get much recognition on YouTube. Christian asked a great question. Why is Chase so popular without having a dedicated grocery or gas category? Christian, my man, don't you know you are not supposed to question Chase here on the interwebs? I think Chase has a lot going for it, but I'm still Team Amex. I think Chase has two major things in its favor, maybe three. First of all, they have a great cashback option. So that's going to appeal to a large number of folks who just can't understand or don't have time to play the transfer partner game, which I think is a substantial number of credit card users and even credit card rewards users. Also consider the marketing. Largest bank in the world, all-star CEO Jamie Dimon, the name recognition, and finally the Chase 24 rules. When they make it difficult to get something, more folks will prioritize it. Finally, I think you have a lot of gaming appeal. You can churn bonuses, you can buy gift cards to fund your Disney trip, no limits on some bonuses and even some cards. But at the end of the day, they have some great cards as well, and they have some great partners. I think they're a very strong second string issuer for enthusiasts, and most likely a great first team for the casuals. Joshua is asking about my MMA career. Well, first things first, Joshua, I never had an MMA career. I started at my local jiu-jitsu school, I think in 2005, and just started grappling. Here's some perspective. I joined the gym after watching Matt Brown's first MMA fight in Columbus. And I joined the gym that he trained at the time. Now, I don't know how old you are, but MMA at the time was kind of synonymous with BJJ, and a lot of the BJJ guys would progress to MMA. Also, in 2005, MMA was a much different sport. It wasn't quite as mainstream, and it was really known as the purest form of competition. Also, if you're old enough to remember 2006 to about 2008, MMA and BJJ, it was kind of a subculture. The board shorts and the tough guy haircuts and all that good stuff, it was a much different era. I was what folks would probably call a journey guy. I was an adult with a full-time job that trained and competed. I wasn't good by any means, but I could compete. I did some grappling tournaments and finally fought and lost in MMA. Normally when you lose, you take some time off and figure out what went wrong and then come back. But at the time I had the opportunity to take my dream job, which basically meant giving up the hobby. In hindsight, I don't think it was a bad move, but I still have some regret giving up that part of me. It was a really cool part of my life, and I made a lot of great friends, and I got to experience what fighters go through. The weight cuts, the training, the actual fight walkout, all super cool stuff. My advice for you would be to not rush it. Train, find a coach you trust that will do what's best for you and match you up correctly. There used to be a saying that when you're fighting and training, the volume on everything else in your life gets turned way down. Be ready to focus on that one thing and take in the entire experience. It's amazing how lucky you are to walk down to that cage in a venue full of people that can't do that. Enjoy it, man, and take a bunch of pictures. Okay, guys, this looks like a good place to split this up, and I will start working on the part 2. If you didn't get your question answered here, look for the next video soon. If you have time, check out my links in the description. And if you've stayed around all the way to the end, I thank you and I appreciate you.